This is the podcast Let's Talk Leisure. We're talking to relevant people in relevant topics connected to the world of the leisure industry. Important topics that are happening right now. In this episode, we're talking to Michael Harrison, co-founder and CEO at Gravity. So welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you as well. Priding itself in becoming the future of active entertainment is what I read. Within the mall and high street, Gravity is now one of the UK's growing leisure companies, the largest one, employing over 500 staff, it says.
Absolutely, that's
awesome. Us. Already valued above 30 million pounds.
That's us. Yeah.
Let's start.
It's been a journey. 7 years ago, I was working for the family business.
Yeah.
And my dad, he's still only 61 now. And he was even younger then.
Is
and
it?
The business that I was running was never really ever going to be mine. So I spoke to my best friend who was sailing boats around the Caribbean. I said, "Come on, let's get into business together. Let's do something." So we see the trampoline industry in the US going from strength to strength.
Yeah.
And we decided to set one up in the UK.
There we go. Because that's the story, right? So if you look at the story before Gravity, how did it all start? Is this where it started?
Well, for me, my leisure journey started pretty much the day I was born. I was born into a traveling fun fair.
Yeah.
And we traveled all over the country in a caravan.
Yeah.
And I was born on Wimbledon Common.
Is it?
Yeah. And, I never went to school until we settled down at the coast when we was 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I did 1 year at school and then left to go to work.
So you don't need school to be successful?
I would advise you go to school to be successful.
Yeah, okay.
Otherwise, you have to do lots of things that you're not too proud of to get successful.
There we go.
Look, education's key. Education. Yeah. I encourage my children to be educated. But look, I started proper work at 12 years old.
Yeah.
In leisure. And we started off in the family business with one carousel ride, then two, then a small amusement park.
At location, at the seaside.
One location, yeah, on the coast.
Yeah.
And look, this developed into a bar, a restaurant, a small hotel, you name it, we did it in this small seaside town. And we had 6 months in the summer season to earn our living, to survive the winter. And it was very tough. I say in the small Yorkshire town of Bridlington, where people don't have much money, the holiday makers don't have much money. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
So that's where it started indeed, but I can imagine that indeed, yeah.
Yeah, that's where my ethos on business started. And when I left that seaside town 7 years ago and come onto the mall, I was shocked at how operators, whether it be retail, leisure or F&B, open their shutters on a morning and just expect the customers to be there. And
which was not the case as you were used to it.
No, I just thought it's almost an arrogant way of thinking.
Yeah.
And especially from someone who has had to fight for every penny they earn in a 6 month period.
Yeah.
So coming, it was almost a breath of fresh air to steal a march on the rest of the centre, and my signage would be bigger and brighter, and our employees would work harder and be more proactive and more fun than anyone else.
Yeah.
These are all the things that make leisure. Leisure is meant to be fun, and we take people away from their everyday worries. And if you can give them a couple of hours away from their own world, then you've done your job, and people will come back and pay for this experience.
But is this what you have learned when you were young as a kid as well, with your family?
Absolutely. Just its experience is everything. And at the coast, it was very difficult to be able to bring the team through with you. And I've always said our employees, that I don't look at them as employees, they're our partners. They are all part of this business. And they will be the difference between Gravity and the rest of the leisure operators. These are the guys, if we invest in them and we train with them. And our HR director, Gemma, I never really knew what she did for the first couple of years, if I'm honest. I knew there was no trouble, and she was very good at what she did, but she instilled into me how important those members of staff are. Isn't that right, Gem?
Oh, there she is. Hi, Gem.
She's installed into me over the years how important it is that we train these guys and we believe in them and we bring them through. And we have people now that started off as marshals who will go on to be senior managers in this business. And as this business grows to being one of the biggest in the UK, to the Europe, and then hopefully worldwide, these people will grow with us.
Because you got a big vision. I'm coming to that in a second, by the way.
Okay.
And I think you already told a nice quick story about yourself. But is there still something interesting about yourself that most people don't know? And I know you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people next to you at the moment.
Yeah, I'm wearing a skirt right now.
Is it now? We're not going to cut that.
Look, the fact we grew up on a traveling fun fair is it used to be something I was almost embarrassed about not having an education. And having that way of life. It was something I always used to try and not hide, but bury slightly. Yeah. And now it's something I'm very proud of. You know, we have a good business, we have a good ethos, and I can make decisions and to be a showman. Yeah. And our official term is to be a showman and to be able to see what people want. You can't teach at a university. So from something that I used to hide from a young age, it's probably something I'm most proud of now.
Awesome. Sounds great. Yeah. And if you look then a little bit further in the story, because you first went into the trampoline parks, right? You say?
You know, when we first started, we had no money. There was three of us. There was my best friend, Harvey Jenkinson, myself, and another partner, a good friend of Harvey's called Simon Wicker.
Yeah.
And Simon invested some money into the business to help us get on our way, but we still had a really tight budget. And so much so that whilst we physically built the site ourselves, we slept on the trampolines. We couldn't afford to stay over in hotels when we started.
Oh, shit.
So there isn't anything we don't understand in this business. We built it. When we started, I worked on the tills, Harvey worked on the trampoline court. We cleaned the toilets, we did everything, and none of those jobs are beyond us, even now.
Yeah. But you started from scratch, slept on the trampoline park.
Yep.
Slept on the trampoline itself. Was it a nice sleep though?
No. I've had worse sleeps, but you know, hopefully those days are behind me now.
Yeah, and if you get it further, then so the first trampoline park, and that grew out to a trampoline business.
Yeah, we started in Escape Yorkshire, and the biggest difference between what I was going to do with the trampoline industry and the rest was the fact that everyone followed the US model. And in the US model, people open trampoline parks on industrial estates next to the highway.
Yeah.
Cheap rent, big box, easy. Well, industrial estates in the UK are not like that. You know, they go over the railway lines, past the flea-bitten dog, past the garages, over the, they're not nice places. And I believed you would never build a bowling alley on an industrial estate. So why the hell would you expect a trampoline park to work there long term? So I would only open in prime leisure and retail destinations. And we opened in Escape Yorkshire. We paid more rent than anyone else. Everyone said we was crazy. And this business took off. Yeah. And the first year we opened Gravity Yorkshire, we added 22% to the footfall of Escape, the whole centre.
Insane.
So the minute we done that, the landlord said, okay, where else can we open Gravity?
And then you knew there was something.
Then we knew. Only by trying to sell a great product to the public, then selling this product to the landlord.
Yeah, there we go.
It was a win-win situation. We open in a shopping centre. We will increase footfall, dwell time, and catchment.
Could you elaborate on that footfall? What does it mean?
The footfall is the amount of people that come to the centre.
Yeah.
So when we first opened in Escape Yorkshire, the footfall was 3.2 million. for the first time ever, and the only thing that changed in this shopping centre after the first year we opened went above 4 million. So obviously, if we're bringing more people to this centre, everyone has taken more money.
It works both ways, indeed.
It works both ways. So, so with this now, I've spent the last, the first couple of years, it was build, 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 build. I'm now trying to reinvent leisure on the mall. And I'm trying the landlords to see that leisure can't be this thing that is pushed up into the eaves in the locations that no retailers can fit.
Yeah.
Leisure needs to be front and center.
Yeah.
Leisure needs to be around the food courts, because if you have a good leisure offering, the food court will also benefit from that. If you put this in the middle and retailers are around that, it really needs to be the focal point of any successful retail destination.
Because you went from trampoline parks towards leisure businesses, right? FSCs actually. How did you come to that transition? Because how many trampoline parks did you go to at the beginning?
Well, all of our trampoline parks now are multi-use leisure. And
so it's added already.
Yeah, and look, I knew then that a trampoline park as a standalone wasn't a long-term success. It just wasn't.
This is a quite important topic you approach here, I think, because this counts for many activities that we see worldwide at the moment, from bowling to the karting to a standalone activity.
The biggest mistake will be made in leisure over the next 3 years is people nailing their masts to one concept. And I am seeing it now in the UK. Every single person who has a bar, who wants to have a successful bar, and they look at the social competitive industry, everyone is putting adventure golfing. Everyone. And they believe putting some AstroTurf on the floor with 9 holes is going to save them. And it isn't.
It works for a short while.
It works for a short while.
Yeah.
And like the trampoline industry, when we was the first park in the UK, we was hugely successful.
And this was when?
2014.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
We was the first trampoline park in the UK. And then within 3 months, there were 7 across the UK. And the catchment was from 100 miles away. People would come to Gravity. And you could not get a ticket from 9 a.m. in the morning till 11 p.m. at night, fully booked every day.
Sounds good.
Everyone in the UK who had £1 million in a shed decided they was going to open a trampoline park. And whether it was on an industrial estate, on a farm, wherever, they was going to open because they'd seen the success Gravity had had. And leading up to the summer of 2016, 100 trampoline parks opened in 1 week across the UK.
But you mean in general or for Gravity itself?
No, in general.
In general, right? Yeah, I was not going to say that because there's a lot.
Oh, it's us. Everyone's catchment then, from 100 miles to about 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah.
Because everyone had a trampoline park. Every town, everywhere had a trampoline park. We ended up with 220 trampoline parks in the UK, and this industry can be dangerous.
Yeah, but this is just over a span of 8 years.
Yeah, no, but it went from probably 7 to 10 parks to 120 within 2 weeks.
Yeah, insane.
Because everyone, for the beginning of the summer holidays in 2016, we're going to open a trampoline park, and we're all going to take as much money as Gravity have done.
Yeah.
Well, they all opened, and no one took anything because they were saturated instantly.
Yeah.
I'd already known before that the key locations and the good operators would survive. The poor locations and the poor operators would fall away. And as quickly as they opened, they closed. The country maxed out at about 220 trampoline parks. I think we're probably back down now to 70. There is a mix of mum and pop parks, which work really well because they are there operating it. I think Gravity are about the last major operator who operate multiple sites. Yeah. There's a couple of franchise businesses out there.
Yeah.
I think this pandemic may have helped these guys along the way. This thing will only get harder for single-use operators.
Yeah.
Look, we developed our trampoline parks into, first of all, we added climbing and high ropes.
And why specifically these activities? Is that what you saw those were interesting, or?
We are gravity active entertainment, and it's active. So we do these things which are active. So climbing, high ropes, they naturally fall into that genre.
Yeah, and they have something to do with the gravity as well.
Absolutely. And we was utilizing spaces we already had in the trampoline parks, so it worked well. A lot of this space is up in the air where we have this space.
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
These, but we're now also developing out onto the malls. So we have these things throughout the mall as well.
Yeah.
The business is really changed, and we are now building our flagship in West London.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
In London, and this is 9,000 square meters on the high street. This place will have 3 bars, 2 restaurants, bowling alley, indoor karting track, FEC area, augmented darts, electric game box, adventure golf, cocktail bar. This place.
Trampolines?
No trampolines in this. No trampolines.
There you go. So this is a big transition then.
It didn't fit the demographic.
Yeah.
And this is part of what we do now as a company. We don't try and push one product. We look at the demographic. We look at what fits the society, whether it should be more of an adult market, a family market, corporate, and that's what we fill out. One thing with my experience of being born into a traveling fun fair, there is absolutely nothing I haven't done in leisure. I've operated bowling centers and nightclubs and bars, you name it, I've done all of it. So we have the experience within this team that we're building as well now, a real professional base to operate a multitude of leisure activities. So what it is now, it's about us having the corporate front, the face, the ability to pull these things together in one location. And we are going to be a problem for the bowling operators and the single-use operators, because why on earth would you go to a bowling alley or a karting track or a trampoline park if for a very similar price you can do all these activities in one place?
So is that immediately also your advice to the ones who have one activity?
One activity is a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would open a gravity next to any single operation, because they just cannot cope with that level of leisure.
Yeah. And with your new site in London, then why did you choose this site, and what did you do to investigate which activities should be implemented over there?
We do an in-depth search of the whole area. We look at the catchment, we look at how affluent the area is, and we look at other activities that are being done in those areas. And from our research, we could see there was a lack of leisure in general in those areas. The main reason to that being is leisure was unaffordable. The rents were too expensive for leisure in those sort of areas, and retailers were paying way over the odds for rents for years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if over in Holland you've heard of the Debenham store, which have just closed down in the UK.
Yeah.
We took a Debenham store, which had been there forever. We took the whole location, and this will now, the department stores are done. But what we are developing is a department store of leisure, a department store of fun. So rather than having all these different brands, which was a real cool thing to do, mid-80s, you will now come to what is essentially a department store of fun. Yeah. And there's lots of different leisure that you can come and spend 4, 5, 6 hours. You can come with the family in the day, you can come with friends or on a date on an evening, or a corporate event. This thing will do everything. And
that's then also a trend for all the retail sites for the coming years, probably. Look, especially after this year. We have more sites than we can deal with. And we never expected to go into the franchise business, but the demand for gravity is so high across the UK and Europe. The only way we will keep up with demand is by bringing on,
good franchise partners. And some of the deals we have for these partners is incredible. We realize their worth and we invest into those sites. And at some points pay up to 50% of the fit out costs for franchise partners. And we have sites all over Holland, Germany, France, Belgium. There isn't really anywhere where Gravity doesn't have a design done ready to go. We're just looking for those partners.
And it will be the name Gravity, right?
Absolutely.
And then what are the key elements to franchise this and to start this out in Holland, for example?
Look, they need to have.
Does it always needs to be in a city, for example?
We have the locations. We already have the locations.
Ah, there we go.
So that is the problem. That we have the locations. We have landlords going, please bring Gravity, increase our footfall by 20%. Yeah, have some money to do it. So we have locations.
Sounds like a good plan.
It's a fantastic plan, but to find quality partners is the challenge.
Yeah, I can understand.
And I think what we are doing now, moving it out from the trampoline parks of 2,500 square meters into the bigger spaces of 4,000 square meters plus. Yeah. Once Wandsworth opens, all we'll need to do is bring a franchise partner or a potential franchise partner to Wandsworth and go, do you want one of these? And they will go, yes.
I will have a look in the Netherlands here.
Absolutely. I've got sites in the Netherlands. Don't worry about the site.
Cool, awesome. It's just the connections then.
Find me some partners.
Great stuff. Hey, and then the question, in your own words, because I saw this phrase, becoming the future of active entertainment. So active entertainment is not your thing, of course, but it's the thing that you're in. Yeah. What does that mean to you? How is it related to your vision with Gravity as well? Absolutely. Look, active entertainment.
We're developing this thing now, and the future of active entertainment to get people off their phones, to put them down, and to go and have some fun. But then at the same time, that's the hardest task, to get people off the phones these days, of course. Absolutely, absolutely. So all of our active entertainment now has elements of tech involved. Yeah. So maybe the phones are linked up to some of the active entertainment, but what we're doing is we're getting people to be active. Yeah, there we go. Have fun and doing something that families can do together. Sounds good. Yeah. That's the goal, and it's a fun business to be in. It's enjoyable. It is fitness that's fun. It ticks all the boxes. And I heard you guys are going from Europe, perhaps also to other parts of the world, right? So what's the vision? Well, we already have a site open in Saudi Arabia. Yeah. We have a site in Kobar, which has been trading now 2 years, and it's absolutely trading off the scale. It's fantastic. COVID came along and stopped site 2 opening. Yeah, of course. We have a 10-site deal there, so this is moving quickly now. They've already found site 2 and possibly 3. We have a partner in Oman who will be getting started soon as well. So the Middle East is on our radar as well. But opportunities in the UK and Europe, it's almost frightening to think that Gravity, with the right partners, could move so quickly. So first UK, Europe. I think so. We have a great partner out in Saudi, and we're happy for these guys to run with it. But the UK and Europe is the demand for retail units that life is expiring quickly. These things need replacing with something that's going to get people back on the high street, and Gravity is that. And have an experience again. Absolutely. And we are teaming up with retailers. You will win prizes and gift cards in Gravity to go and spend into the retail stores. Which can happen in the streets again. So this is a reason not to buy online. This is a reason to come and play at Gravity and eat at one of the local restaurants, because we're offering a discount at that restaurant at Gravity, and prizes for those restaurants and bars and retail stores. So it really is about reinventing the high street, and I feel we'll play a major part. Added value there. For sure. Hey, if you still have a minute, I still have a question about you as a role as co-founder and CEO of Gravity. What's your #1 key takeaway from your experience in the leisure industry that you would like to share with this audience? Sorry, could you ask the question again?
Yeah. So what's your number one key takeaway that you would like to share with the audience from your experience in this industry? And probably there are many, hard to choose, but
there is many. I feel leisure is, you have to have a certain sort of brain to be involved in leisure and to think outside the box. If you follow the rest of the trends, you will not be successful in this business. If you go and follow everyone else and go and open a golf bar in the next 12 months, you are going to have a problem.
So you say don't follow the trends.
Do not follow. Be the leader.
There you go. Okay. Then from being the leader, I have to ask this one. What's the biggest failure you ever had in last year, and why do you think it happened? And maybe not to you, but maybe also to the business. And I think a successful company is only built on failures often, and the learnings from it.
I believe, look, I have been in this all my life, and I've made many mistakes in business since being 12 years old, obviously.
Yeah.
Last year, the mistakes, I can't say we made mistakes last year, because the year before, we worked really hard to have a fantastic team. And we got a real strong team around us. And we led from the front, and this team kept the whole workforce engaged throughout COVID. And it's something I'm really proud of. The fact that when we reopened our doors across the whole portfolio, I think we had probably 4 staff leave. We did over 4,500 hours of training throughout the pandemic to keep the teams engaged. So one of the best things I did last year was making sure we had a great team around us to get through the hard times.
I guess that's a good advice as well, and a compliment to your team in total.
Absolutely, and look, I don't think anyone can look at last year and beat themselves up too hard about things not going as they wanted. It was unprecedented last year.
Yeah.
And I know who knew what was going to happen and how it was going to turn out.
Yeah.
All I know is that I feel very fortunate, very grateful to have the team around me. So we've still got a business now.
Yeah. And growing.
And growing.
Yeah. Awesome.
And we made a decision early days. We was either going to bury our heads in the sand, pay no one, do nothing, lay everyone off and save as much money as we could, or we was going to try and be forward thinking, and we was going to engage with the landlords, engage on how we come out of this, be proactive with all the team. And I believe taking that second option like we did was the right choice.
Thanks for sharing.
Pleasure.
We're almost there.
Good.
I have this question here, but actually you say don't follow trends. My question was, which trends do you foresee and how do you respond to them? but if it's not trends that you're following,
I can't follow trends. We must set the trends. And as I said, to be in this industry, you have to think a certain way. And
is it gut feeling? Is it experience? Is it?
Listen, there's the risk you take in leisure to get it right and to get it wrong. And look, the risk I took was, do I take the trampoline? And I see the trend in the US. I didn't invent trampolining, but I see the trend in the US, and I thought, can we make this work in the UK? And we did. If we'd have followed the US trend and opened on industrial estates, it would have failed.
Yeah.
We take it and we twist it. You've got to be bold, and you've got to have a go at something. And risks need to be taken.
In everything, of course.
Risks have to be taken, and
check.
It's anything you do, if it is golf you're going to do, then put your own spin on it. If it is bowling, make sure it's different to anyone else.
Clear. Thanks for that. Then a last question, I think. Also, I've got some extra questions over here. But what would be your favorite quote to end this conversation? What's your favorite learning? Can be from a book, can be from a person. What would you like to share in this?
I don't have a quote as such, but you know, more and more in this world we're in now, I see people who are scared to make a decision. I see people that want to be part of a bigger pack and want to go along with the flow. And going forward, I believe the person that's going to be successful is a person that's going to lead and make a decision. The worst decision you will ever make is not making a decision. So whether it's right or wrong, make a decision.
Make a decision. We end with that. Thanks so much.